life with Belle. Yeah, I said the live show is starting soon, so keep your YouTubes tuned to Thread Life with Belle, with Belle, with Belle. On YouTube starting very soon, so stay tuned. Belle is getting ready for you. Quilting, teaching, sewing, making lovely things. Come on and join us. It's almost time for Thread Life with Belle. Yeah, I said the live show is starting soon, so keep your YouTubes tuned to Thread Life with Belle. Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life, Thread Life. Thread Life with Belle, starting soon.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Thread Life with Belle. You are here in my Seam Sew Me studio in rural Arkansas. And if you can see, it's dark behind me. And that's not because it's nighttime. It's 4 o'clock here and a storm is rolling in. It's going to be pretty fast. It'll last for about 45 minutes. So hopefully we don't lose electricity tonight. So welcome everybody. Welcome. We've got Brenda here from Michigan. She says it's depressing and cold and white. Well, it's gloomy here, but it's like 65, which is really nice. Hello, Trish, Elsa, Alonda. Hello, Alonda. Is this the first time you've joined us? Sometimes we see new people leaving messages in there, so welcome if this is your first time, or if you've been lurking a little bit and now you're chatting. We're so glad to hear you say hello. Pardon? Let's see, and Barry, hello Barry. Hello, hello, hello everyone. Well, welcome. So what are we doing today? This show will be a little bit longer than normal. This is the Fat Quarter Shop's Fat Quarter by the Dozen. And there's about 5 or 6 of us that are kind of co-host, well, I shouldn't say co-hosting, but hosting along with Fat Quarter Shop, where you can make your blocks live. And so if you're wondering what we're doing, if this is your first time to join in, this is our 3rd month. So it started in January. We did a live in January, February, and March. And because I have been dealing with a health issue, I wasn't able to do the live on March 1st. So today we're doing the block for March 1st, and then we're also doing the block for today, the 15th. So we're going to do 2 blocks. We're going to be doing the Checkmate block, which is 2 of those. They're small. And then 1 of the Clover blocks, which is really big. So we're working out of the Fat Quarter by the Dozen book, and it's got 12 quilt patterns in it. And what we're doing for the sampler that we're working on together is we're making 1 block from each of those 12 quilts in this book. So all the information is in the description box. You can still jump in and catch up if you want, because we're only on block 3 and 4 today. But you do need this book. And then on the 1st and the 15th of every month, you need to go to the Fat Quarter Shop website, and the link's there in the description box below, and download the 1 printout for the month, because it has all of your cutting instructions just to make 1 block. It has your cutting requirements for 1 block. So we've got 2. So this is our Clover one. We'll do that second. And this is our Checkmate block, and we're going to make 2 of these. So you do need both of these, and you download those on the 1st and the 15th of each month. And then this is all of the cutting instructions and how to assemble it, if that makes sense. All right. Okay. Let's see.
Can I switch to chat real quick? I can get that set.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll switch over to chat. Quilt Husband needs to fix something here on the chat screen. Yeah, Brenda, Quilt Husband did a good job yesterday. He finished his mat, the cat mat for Trip. So if you guys look on my community feed on my channel, we posted a picture of Quilt Husband with our cat Trip and the cat mat. We put it in like his little, it's a little basket. So we put it in his little basket and then realized it's a little too small for that. So we put it on the back of the couch because that's the other place that he lays. And he doesn't really have anything up there. So I'm constantly having to lint roll that, which is a little bit of a pain. But he's declawed. So thankfully he doesn't tear up any of our furniture or anything. So let's see what happened to my mouse. There we go. Okay, Quilt Husband's moving all my stuff. Okay, all right. Well, welcome everybody. We're glad that you're here. And let me see, what else do we have? For those of you that didn't catch yesterday's, couple things coming up this month for our Threadmaster members. So shout out to all the Threadmaster members. Those are ones that pay a couple bucks a month to support the channel, and you actually get some extra special things from time to time. And so one of the things that are happening is my third fabric collection. The portfolio came in for that. That doesn't release till fall. And Threadmasters get to see that before anybody else does. So I will be doing that this month. And then also a free pattern for Threadmasters. It is my big tulip wall hanging. So it's, I want to say it's like 25 by 25 or 36 by 36. I can't remember. Maybe 25 by 25. But it's a wall hanging of a tulip. And so you're going to get that free download pattern, and then we will do it together live as well. So those are two things coming up for Threadmaster members. All right. Okay, what's everybody working on today? I know a lot of people sew on Sunday afternoons. It's just kind of a relaxing day, and you know, usually you're off work, and if you go to church, you're done with church usually. So yeah, I hope that you guys are having a good Sunday. Okay, let's get started here on our blocks because we're going to be together a little bit longer than normal. I'm going to turn down this light so you can see this better. So the first two blocks we're going to make, this is our Checkmate block. And I always I'm using my Montgomery Mountain Charm scraps. These are my fabrics from my new fabric collection, which actually just started shipping to shops this last week. So the shops have been like tagging me on social media and messaging me. A local quilt shop here in Arkansas, about an hour and a half away, is throwing me a big launch party to kick this off. So if you're in Arkansas, you can go to the Hartsville Homestead at noon on Saturday for the big launch party. There's going to be prizes, giveaways, homemade pie, custom brewed coffee, and some AccuQuilt giveaways too, not to mention you can buy the fabric. So that is what I've used. I always do a test block before I do this with you guys live to make sure I know what I'm doing and you know, my brain's kind of with it. So this is our Checkmate block. We're going to make 2 of these. And then our last block, this one's pretty big. This is like 18.5 inches. And this is our Clover block. And I use some of the lighter colors in my fabric collection for this one. So these are the 2 we're going to be working on. I don't know if y'all can hear that wind. And is that a little bit of hail? Yeah, it's raining pretty hard. So hopefully the electricity doesn't go out. So that's what we're going to be working on. All right, I'm going to set these aside for now. And we're going to grab the fabrics. Now the fabrics that I'm working with, this is April Cornell's Beloved collection. And the reason I'm working with this is the Fat Quarter Shop, at the time this quilt-along started, did not have my fabric in yet. And so I picked to use one of my colleagues at Bennertex. This is her collection called Beloved. So that's what I'm working with. And all that's listed below in the description box below. All right. Okay, we are going to get started with our first 2 blocks. And I've got everything cut here. So let's just lay everything out. Hey, Kathy. Hello from California. I hope you're having some sunny weather because it's storming right now here. We have a little thunderstorm coming through. So let's set everything here and let's start working on these. So we're going to make both of these blocks kind of at the same time. So as I lay everything out, I will lay everything out on my, I'm trying to remember. Oh, we got to do half square triangles first. So I'm going to use my rotating cutting mat for that, which is really, really helpful. Okay, the first thing we do, we take our H squares and our C squares. Those are what we're going to need first. And we are going to make our half square triangles. And I've got both colors going on here. So I'm going to do all of those at the same time. Okay. So it tells us that we need to draw a line on the back of our H squares, which are all of these, right? Yes, those are all the H squares. Let me double check. Yes, background accent. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We are gonna do that. I got this fun little marking pen. It's like a friction pen. It's one of Minky Kim's new friction pens. Someone gave it to me at QuiltCon. It's got this cute little, I don't know, this cute little face on it, but it's a really fine tip pen. And I don't use friction pens unless it's for something like this that you're not going to see, because unfortunately I had a very bad experience when I was a new quilter. It was my very first quilt I had designed. It's not one I've ever published, but I designed it in EQ8. I was so proud of myself, and I used a Clover, I used a friction pen. And yeah, it was bad news bears, because washed the quilt, dried it, and when it got cold out, like winter weather, all those lines came back. And the lines came back on cream fabric, and they're still there. It ruined the quilt. Actually, when Quilt Folk was here and did the article for the Arkansas edition, I showed them and had them take pictures so they could see that story. So I never ever recommend friction pens in quilting. I was using it to mark my quilting lines, unless you're doing it for something like this on the back of fabric that you're not going to see. It's not going to show through or anything like that. So that is a tip from Belle, so that you are not traumatized or upset by that experience. Okay. Now we lay our H squares on top of our C squares, and I'm going to go ahead and pin these. No, I'll get by without pin. These are pretty small. I don't think they're going to shift much. So we'll just put all these together. And I'm just going to carry my rotating cutting mat with me to the sewing machine. And Quilt Husband's here. He's over at the command station, so he's in there chatting with you guys and maybe answering questions and stuff if you're wondering. He was on yesterday for what? Hour and a half?
2 hours.
2 hours? Yeah, to do his cat bed. So y'all have to catch Quilt Husband Learns to Sew in that episode. Okay, Brenda finished a baby quilt today. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, this is pretty fabric. It's very floral. It's definitely very floral. Okay, let's go on over to the sewing machine, and we are going to make our half square triangles. I'm one that I love a rotating cutting mat. I have a big square one that's 14 by 14. And then this one is my Sew Tots magnetic cutting mat that's an 11-inch. And I like to lay my stuff on it, and that's how I bring it over here to the sewing machine. And it kind of keeps everything together. All right. So we are just going to sew a 1/4 inch away from the diagonal line. And there's not much trimming on these, so I don't have a lot of wiggle room. I need to make sure I get these lined up really well. And this foot I have is a 1/4 inch foot, so I literally can line the edge here of the presser foot up with the diagonal line that I drew and just sew right along it. And then I'm going to chain stitch, so I'm just going to grab a second set. That way I don't have to cut my thread, and just keep going. We're a little bummed because we've had this lovely spring weather. It's been warm literally all through February. Everything is like in bloom. My azalea bush is blooming, everything, and guess what's going to happen tonight? It's going to be 25 degrees. And then tomorrow night, 27 degrees. So I saw my neighbors earlier today. They were out there with plastic trying to cover one of their fruit trees. And then my husband is going to be covering up I have little peony sprouts coming up. I've been trying to grow them. That's like my favorite flower. It was in my wedding bouquet. And the ground here on the property is very rocky and it's difficult to grow a lot in the ground. So we have raised beds. But the peonies, the bulbs, this will be the 3rd year. And I know they say it takes like 3 years to really like take effect, but man, they're still really tiny. So he's got to cover those up. Excuse me. He's going to cover up both my azalea bushes, my gardenia bush, my lilac bush. Let's see. What else are you covering up, babe? Huh? Yeah, I have in my pots, I've got some succulents in there. And I had bought some flowers at Walmart Garden Center. Let's see. Wednesday, we were coming back from a doctor's appointment and we stopped and bought some. And realized, good thing I haven't put those in the pots yet because it's going to freeze. So we're going to bring them inside. We're going to bring the pots inside. Let me zoom in a little bit here.
Kathy said the pattern for the Clover block isn't on FQS yet.
It's not? Will you look in the description box, babe, and click on the link I have down there? It's supposed to be on the 15th. And they actually posted it on social media this morning. So I'll have Quilt Husband look on there and see if it's someplace different, Kathy. And if not, I can message them on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, they made a post of it this morning of the block. So I don't know if you have Instagram, you could message them and let them know if it's not on there. It's kind of under a unique area. It's kind of like where like all of the stuff is for this quilt along. And it may be part of kind of like a blog article. Kathy, did you look in the normal place that they are and it's not there? If not, you'll have this video. So when it is there, you'll have the video. I was given all of these back in January since I'm kind of hosting the lives for it. So we were given, some of us, there were like 4 of us that were given all these early so we also could cut our fabrics and practice them ahead of time. So if it's not there yet, at least you'll have this live to go back to. And, you know, if you need a visual for how I'm doing it. I didn't have any trouble with this block. There was a little bit for the Clover block. There is something I do need to show you that is a little bit confusing when it comes to your fabrics. There's one letter representing one fabric in there that is really supposed to be the background fabric, not the accent fabric that's in the middle of your Clover. And it's a little confusing because it depends on if your accent fabric is the same as your background fabric. And in the pattern, the photo of the actual finished quilt shows your accent fabric the exact same as your background fabric. But in the single individual block that you download, it shows the accent fabric is a print and the background fabric is white. So I did cut 4 extra H squares in the accent that really needed to be in the background color. And I'll explain that to you guys when we get to it. So that'll be something to be aware of, Kathy. And for those of you that have not downloaded the block pattern yet, or if it's not there on the website yet, just a little something to pay attention to. I mean, I didn't waste that much fabric, but it was, I think it was 4 3.5 inch squares that, you know, I'll have to just put aside or use for something else. I mean, 2.5 inch squares I can use for English paper piecing. That right there is a 1 inch hexie. So lots of times jelly rolls, or if I have leftover 2.5 inch squares, I just use those for my hexies that I cut on the Acu quilts. So if you're wondering sometimes what to do with those, but it's not? Huh. Okay. All right. Then I should give you my Instagram so you can like message them, because people are going to be wondering about that. Kathy, thanks for mentioning that. The social media person sees the messages So you want to give me my phone and I can do a little message to them. We'll just message them right here. Oh, okay. Let's see. We'll message them right now because they did post it. So I'm just going to go on Instagram to Fat Quarter Shop. There it is. And there is the post. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I just sent my message, y'all, and it just says the pattern is not uploaded to the website yet. Folks are asking me about it on my live. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be uploaded while we're on together. So Kathy, thanks for the heads up on that. And that should be able to get us going. Okay, let's go back to it. So now we've got all these cute little half square triangles. Another tip for you, this is the block lock ruler. This is one of my favorite rulers. I have the set of 3. It is a splurge. It's got a little groove here in the middle, and it locks on your seams. Now it locks on your seams when you have pressed to the side. When you haven't pressed to the side, I just use it as a gauge to know where the center part is to cut these down. And so that's what we're going to do on these. Everything on both of these blocks is press open. There's some areas of the pattern that don't tell you which direction to press or if you should press open. So I pressed open for everything. Let's see if I can get on here without my head getting in the way. And one of the reasons I really love a rotating cutting mat is because you can do this. Just press your ruler down and gently lift up and keep going around without having to lift your ruler up. Look at that. Perfection. So block lock ruler, it's worth the splurge. I use these, I would say, gosh, at least a couple times a month. This comes with 2.5, 4.5, and 6.5. And I think I got this at Missouri Star Quilt Company. I'd gone up to visit for the first time. We were living in Springfield, Missouri at the time. So it was maybe just, I don't know, a 3.5 hour drive up there, which wasn't bad. And I saw it and I was like, I don't love making half square triangles. This makes it easier. So I did splurge and I've been using them ever since. One time one almost walked off at a quilt retreat and I managed to make sure I got out of there with getting it back. So there's not a lot to cut off on 2 sides, but there is on the other 2 sides. Huh?
It's on the Checkmate page. Your book, it's on the Checkmate page.
Yeah, that's what we're making.
Oh, okay.
We're making the check. We're making the Checkmate. Yeah, we're making the Checkmate. I'll cover that up. Quilt husband's making sure I'm making the right block. All right. Okay, Kathy, if they message back on there, I'll check in a little bit and see. But the social media person's pretty good about checking, even on the weekends. So hopefully, whoops, I bumped it. Yeah, you do have to be gentle, though, when you lift up. All right. There's one set, and now we've got the other set here. So anyway, back to the weather. It never fails. This has happened. This has happened as long as we've lived here in Arkansas, and I'm sure it happened when I was a kid, and I just don't remember it. We get this second, it's not like a second winter, it's just a hard freeze. And it's so frustrating because everything's starting to look gorgeous, and then bam, the freeze. I hate it. Oh yeah, okay, Quilt Husband's gonna keep checking the website for y'all. But if it's not uploaded till like tomorrow, if they don't see the message, you got the video to go back if you need this. I mean, these are pretty easy. I bumped it again. So I don't think you'll need it, but I did catch that one little confusing thing for the Clover block. So and I don't usually plant anything till the end of March. So by the end of March, there's no threat of bad weather, cold weather. But it can happen through the middle of March here. So I was grateful. Our wedding anniversary, our 9th wedding anniversary was Friday. And since I hadn't been feeling very good, we just kind of stayed around rather than going away. And we went to the botanical gardens. It's called Garvin Gardens. And it's here, it's in Hot Springs, which is about 35 miles from us. And it was absolutely gorgeous. All the tulips, the azalea bushes were in bloom. What else was there, babe?
Tulips.
I mean, it was just
Trees.
acres of tulips.
Flower trees.
Yeah, there were tulip trees. I mean, it was just gorgeous. So that was really, really enjoyable. And I know I'm part of the Master Gardeners group here, and they're going on Thursday. And sadly, I'm afraid it's going to freeze for all of them. So we were really glad we were able to go on Friday before this happened. We got some really pretty pictures. Okay, there is our half square triangles. So now it tells us to get our I blocks and our D blocks. And we're going to make all 4 of these units at the same time. So these are our I's, here's our D's. Okay. So the I's go here. The D's go here. So we've got to do these first. Let's get these laid out the right direction. Ooh, okay, Belle, these, the inner part of the check mark I picked to be the light color. So my darker background print is what goes on the outside here. And I'm just going to talk to myself so I make sure I get these done right. So this is our little inner check mark here. It's kind of like a little tail. So now that I've got those right, we're making 2 of those. So I'm just going to I'm going to stack everything up. This is kind of how I like to do it, is I'll just stack everything up so I can just kind of chain stitch, chain piece. So those are correct. Now we're going to move on to the sage green color. Ooh, the light flickered. Let's see, when the electricity goes off, how much time do we have? Does everything shut down when the electricity goes off?
Everything except for the internet. And
So if the electricity goes off, y'all, because it flickered, what will we do?
just have to come back.
Reboot?
It comes on.
We'll have to
This stuff stays on.
Yeah, we'll have to reboot, but it won't be this same link that y'all joined.
Yeah.
It'll have to be like a new one that we'll just have to throw up really quick, and I'll have to change the thumbnail on it. So, FYI. Okay, so let's go sew these units together here. We're going to do all 4 of them. Yeah, Kathy, no problem on checking on that. So far they've been really good about posting those there, you know, first thing that morning. But, you know, things happen. We're not perfect. I know they're a busy shop. And y'all, they do have my Montgomery Mountain Charm fabric collection. You actually can go on their website and get it now. If your local quilt shop does not carry it, you can get it from the Fat Quarter Shop. They've got my Blissfield solids, so it's 16 solids that go with the whole collection. And then they've got the full collection too. And then of course you've got the free, on my website you can download my free double sawtooth star pattern. It's called Montgomery Stars, and that is free. And you can make the entire quilt top, including scrappy binding, with all 25 fat quarters in my collection. So y'all can go to the freebies tab on my website, and in the description box below is my website link, but you can download that if you're not a newsletter subscriber. If you are a newsletter subscriber, that went out a couple weeks ago. And that's the best place to get any of my free stuff or my patterns or just like the latest news with me. So if you're not a newsletter subscriber, I highly suggest, because that's like where everything kind of is, where I kind of announce everything. And if I have free tutorials or pattern launches or things like that, that is the place where everything's at. And then at the end of it, I always include something called a personal note. And it's kind of something, you know, going on that may be in my personal life or may not have anything to do with quilting. Sometimes it's gardening. Sometimes it's something I cooked. I've shared sourdough recipes before. Maybe it's someplace we've been or we've gone to. And then that's where, when I do any type of discount for my pattern launches, that's where you get the coupon code. It's not available to other people, just to my newsletter subscribers. Okay, let's see. Whoops. I'm reading the chat here. You have a list of stores in Missouri that you want to visit when you move there, Brenda? Oh, when are you moving to Missouri?
She's gonna move there to be closer to her grandbaby.
Oh, that'll be nice. That'll be really nice. And if y'all are wondering if your quilt shop carries it, on my website there is a link that says fabric collections, where to buy. And Benartex gave me the list of all the fabric shops that are carrying it. So you can tell that way too. All right, let's go press these. Yeah, you guys, don't forget, I always forget to say it. If you don't mind, give the video a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, I'd love for you to subscribe. You'll get the notifications when we go live here. Me and sometimes Quilt Husband, if you're watching the Quilt Husband Learns to Sew. And he has decided he wants to make a large lap quilt. So he's going to make my Fray Boxes quilt. That is kind of a, it's a scrappy pattern. It's super easy. It's beginner friendly. And you can make it like as like little scrappy or really, really scrappy. He kind of likes abstract stuff. So it's sort of like that. It's actually applique and piecing. You sew. Are y'all familiar with the bullseye quilt? That's the round circles. Well, these are squares doing this. It's the same method, but it's using squares instead of round circles. And it's so easy. I've actually made 2 of them. And one of them I actually have used on my bed for quite a while, until I just made a granny square quilt and quilted that one on my long arm. So I did swap that out recently. Now we're pressing everything open. Like I said, there's some parts that doesn't really give a suggestion on which way to press, and so when that happens, it's like it's just too much to remember. Now if I press left and right and the nesting, there's so many pieces in some of these blocks that for me, I'm just pressing everything open. But you do what works for you, what makes you happy. Get that open there. I had a protein shake today. We did something a little new. I eat quite a bit of protein, and Chris made my protein shake using coconut milk. So, I don't know how I feel about it. My belly feels just a little weird, but the flavor's good. Okay, let's get all of these in order here. And then we're going to sew them into these little units. Is that right? No. There we go. Nope. Did I sew those wrong? Okay, it goes like this. Okay, let me check this here. These four go with this one. Like that. And then this one is like that. Okay, that's how it goes. Whew! Scared me for a second there. I hate when I have to unpick stuff. Did this one? No, that one's... Yeah. I did sew this one wrong. How did I do that? Okay, I'm gonna have to unpick this one. Darn it. Quilt husband loves when he has to visit Jack with Jack, the seam ripper. I have a little bit of dyslexia, and so I guess even people without that get stuff turned around, but I struggle a little bit. Sometimes with getting stuff twisted around. Okay, let me look at the photo here. Make sure I get this right this time. There we go. It's like that. Okay, let's go sew this together. Hey, Diana. Welcome. We're glad you're here. It's nice to see some new faces, or at least if you've been here lurking and you're saying hello. We love when you say hello and let us know who you are and where you are. It's funny, when we were at QuiltCon, Quilt Husband and I were at the Liberty of London booth, and we were talking. And this lady was right next to us, and she wasn't looking at us, she was looking down. And after she heard us talk, she goes, "Are you Belle and Quilt Husband?" And we're like, "Yeah." She's like, "I recognize y'all's voices without even seeing who you were." And so she's like, "I literally was just watching the live on my way driving here to QuiltCon." So that was kind of fun. And then we had two others that stopped by the Benartex booth, and they said that they kind of follow along. So that was really fun. Okay, let's see here. Now we've got it right. Okay, those are ready. Let's get these. Let me see if I messed this one up too. Okay, that one's good. And that one's good. Okay, I only messed up one of them. All right, let's go sew these. Put them on my spinning mat. It's a little easier to carry it over that way. Okay. Now we're just gonna sew these together, and I'm gonna chain stitch them. And I'm gonna go ahead and pin, because sometimes these will shift a little bit on me. So I'm gonna pin those. Oh, you're not sure when you're moving there, Brenda? Yeah, so we lived in Springfield for 7 years. My husband is from there. And then we moved here to Arkansas, which is where I'm from. It'll be 3 years in August, so we've been here a little over 2.5 years. I shouldn't have cut that. Should have just kept sewing. Oh, Diana, you put a reserve on Montgomery through the Fat Quarter Shop? Yeah, right now they have it on pre-order, but I can tell you they may already have it in. I had 2 shops on Friday that theirs arrived. And then I had one shop literally email me today just to double check that they were supposed to send the customers to my website to download the free pattern, which is correct because it's not, because of copyright law, I don't allow it to be photocopied. But people can download it for free on my site. So yeah, so they're starting to get it. So I wouldn't be surprised, Diana, if you just ordered it, that, did you use the link that Quilt Husband posted? It's also down in the description box. If y'all want to get the fabric, that link to the Fat Quarter Shop is down there. I always suggest to people, buy from your local quilt shop if they carry it, or if you can, but you know, not all shops will carry, you know, all the designer's collection. So I was really glad that Fat Quarter Shop did, so that for those that their local quilt shop isn't carrying it, that they can still get it. So this one's a little short. I have to like fudge on that one a little. Okay, let's cut these apart and we'll press them, and then we can move on to assembling these. And I was excited too that they carry my Blissfield solids collection. So it's a curated bundle of all 16 colors that coordinate with the entire selection. So that was really good too, because sometimes I like to combine solids sometimes with my prints, but you can, Brenda, that whole Montgomery Stars quilt pattern on my website that's free, you literally can make the entire quilt top, they're all double sawtooth stars, with the 25 fat quarters, and you have enough left over to make scrappy binding. So all you need is your backing. Yeah, I did that one just because it was so efficient to use up all 25 prints. And right now my testers, they're in the middle of testing. I always have a free pattern that comes out with my fabric collection, and my next fabric collection launches in May at H&H America. So when I say launches, fabric shops can start ordering it, and then it ships to fabric shops like at the end of summer. And so I've got 2 patterns. One is a paid pattern, one is a free pattern. And we're in the middle of testing those right now. I was gonna say, should I show y'all a sneak peek of it? No, I'm not going to. It's tempting to do that. Okay, we've got that little unit made. Now, what are we supposed to do? We need our A.
Yes, what was the name of the pattern that's free for your new fabric?
It's Montgomery Stars, and if you look on my website under freebies, it's right there at the front. Montgomery Stars is right there at the front. Let me see if I've got the cover of it here. I don't know if I've got. And also Montgomery ribbon. I still got to post the pictures on. I don't have a picture of it. It's a PDF download of Montgomery Stars, but also Montgomery ribbon. That's not free, but that is one that you use my fabric collection with. You know what? Let me just show it to y'all. I'll show you both of them if you haven't seen them. I've got them right here. So this is the free one. This is Montgomery Stars. So this is the free They're all double saw 2 stars. You can see all those. That's the full collection with all 25 fat quarters. And I used my stripe, my Washita stripe print for the stripe binding in this one. But you can make the entire, make all the binding with all that's left over from your scraps from the fat quarters. So that's that. And then I use the Montgomery Floral, which is the hero print of the collection, for my backing. This comes in a white and a cream. So that is the free one that you can download. And I've got these out because I'm taking them with me to the launch party in Russellville Saturday that they're throwing for me. Now this is Montgomery ribbon, and this one, I only can show you one because the other one, Benartex has got to send back. I made it in the Blissfield Solids. This is in Montgomery Mountain Charm in several of the prints. So I don't know if you can see it all. Can y'all see it all? I'll turn it. This is the side of it, but this is right side. So the bottom of it's got the reds and the terracottas. The middle are the yellow. And then the other end are the teals and the greens. So this is one block that makes up the entire row all the way across. And it all has video tutorials on it. And then I used the quartz crystal canopy on the back. So these are all quartz crystals. And then I used the gold striped binding for this one. So this is their, this is a paid pattern, and you can get it as a PDF download or the paper pattern. So anyway, there y'all go. It's a little bit on that. And then what was the other thing? Oh, there's 2 more things really quick since y'all were asking. This is the my River Glen pattern. So I teach Easy Cathedral windows, and so this is one of the totes I made. And I have a tutorial on how to make the French seam tote. So this is made with French seams, which is like a really fancy way, but it's not that hard to do. And then I use the toile. So this is the Belle toile inside. Let me turn the overhead on and see if you can see it better. This is where I grew up. So there's like the porch swing. There's a bell my parents would ring to call us home. And then I use the Baby Lock Sashiko for all the quilting on this one. So that is River Glen. And you can make the pillow, you can turn it into a tote like I did, a table runner, or a quilt. And then lastly, I've got a limited number of these. I've only got a limited number of patterns. They're my friend Jane Klaus. It's her pattern. This is a paper pattern, and this is to make the apron. This is the Hestia apron. It's got this huge bow on it, and this is the full collection, Montgomery Mountain collection on this one, and then I used the toile on the back. So there you go. All right, well, thanks to those of you that ordered it. Okay, back to what we were doing here. So let's lay out what we need to do for these. So those go there. We're making the bottom one. So it's like this. B, B. And then this goes this direction. Our E strip goes in the middle. This one goes on this side, and then this one goes like that. Okay, where's my, I'm gonna get my bigger rotating cutting mat, and I'm gonna stack these up so I don't get things out of place, because sometimes Belle does. Especially when you're talking. Like when you're talking and sewing, it's harder than it looks. So we'll put these here. So that's how these go together. They're not hard. They're really not hard. And that way, and this way, and then that. So they look like that. Okay, let's go stitch those together. And, oh, treat, Quilt Husband is going to do a live from the fabric launch, y'all. So he's going to take the camera equipment, and since you can't be there in person, some of you for the launch party, he's going to go live. So it's at noon Central Standard Time on Saturday, and it'll last for a few hours. I think he can get about 3 hours worth on the camera, right? Yeah, about 3 hours worth. Yeah, huh? Yeah, Saturday the 21st. And actually the shop we're going to, they sell stuff online. So when he's there doing the live, if you see stuff in their shop you like, they do sell stuff online. They are the sweetest. It's called the Hartzell Homestead. They're in they're actually in a little town called Dover. But Dover, like, you blink and you're gone. You miss it. It's right close to Russellville. It's about an hour and a half from here. And they have been so supportive of me as a, you know, local designer here. And they're just like, they feel like family. I mean, they're the kind of people, you know, you can have different experiences in quilt shops. I have. I'll be 51 next month, and you know, sometimes when you're younger and you go into a quilt shop, I have not at times had the best experiences because it's, I don't know, it's almost like if you're younger, you can't possibly really know how to quilt, or at least not do it very well. And sometimes, you know, you may not have the best experience, and that's not everywhere. But when I was, you know, brand new with quilting, some places were not as warm and friendly as I thought. When I stopped at places kind of all over in all my various travels. But they are different. They are just amazing. It's Charla is the owner and her 2 daughters. And it's Gracie and, oh, I forget the other one's name. I'm sorry. Anyway, their 2 daughters are just precious. And they're just really genuine, kind people. And they had asked me, they're like, Belle, is anybody throwing you a launch party? And I was like, I hadn't even heard of that before. It's like, no. They're like, we would love to throw one for you. So anyway, I'm bringing the quilts and all that stuff I just showed y'all. And they're making pies. I'm going to make a pie. They've got locally custom roasted coffee. And then also you'll have chances to win AccuQuilts. For those, I think that I think it's if you make a $50 purchase or more, you're registered to do that. So make sure if you do want to buy something, you know that you can be registered to win some AccuQuilt goodies. So that's what we'll be doing Saturday. But Quilt Husband's going to do it live. And he's going to download the video, right? In case YouTube, like, does something glitchy. So that happened with one of the day 3 of QuiltCon. And we were so bummed. And I know some of you were bummed because you were in the middle of watching it and it just disappeared. It shows us that it's still there, but it says that it's processing. And it's been saying that since, you know, what, 3 weeks ago? Yeah. So we're really sorry about that. But what we learned is when he does the lives, he's just going to download a copy of it so we have it like on the hard drive. And if that happens again, we can just re-upload it. No problem. So we call those teaching moments. Yeah, you like the bag? Thanks, Brenda. I do too. I've actually made several. I've made some for gifts. When I teach my cathedral window class, I either will teach the pillow or it takes a little bit longer. I've recently started offering that if they want to turn it into a tote, that we can do that instead of the pillow. But a lot of people feel like quilty rock stars when they can accomplish the cathedral window. I use a modern easy method where we still sandwich it with all 3 layers. And it's not the old way that you had to hand stitch everything. There was no batting. Yeah, and usually no one ever finished them, or if they did, it took them 30 years. And it's like, nobody's got time for that. So there's an easier way. A much easier way. Okay, that one's a little long, so we're just going to cut that off. Okay. Okay, let me go press these and then we'll sew on the bottoms and we will be done with our Checkmate block, and we'll move on to the Clover block. The Clover block is so stinking cute. I really enjoyed making that one. I tested it out earlier today, you know, making it the first time, and then cut all the fabrics for our live today, and I really had fun with that one. Honestly, that's one of the ones, I don't have time to do it, but if I was going to make one of the quilts in the book, the Fat Quarter by the Dozen book, that is one I would absolutely make. I love it. Saline County Quilt Guild to do the cathedral window. Oh, Brenda, are you in Saline County? I'm trying to remember when I'm scheduled. I think, is it November? I'm coming. I'd have to look at my schedule of when I'm supposed to come. I've had to cancel just because of a health issue. I've had to cancel a few things in April and May. So hopefully, I don't think that affected you. There was one guild I was supposed to teach at in April, and I'm not going to be able to. We're going to have to reschedule it. So I can't remember, Brenda, when I'm coming to Benton. Seemed like it was later in the summer, or maybe it was in November. Do you remember? I'd have to pull up my Outlook calendar, but that is a lot of fun. That class is a lot of fun. And people with that class, you're guaranteed to get the top done. You know, the top of the quote pillow or tote. And then some people will decide to turn it into the pillow later or a tote later, because it takes pretty much the full 6 hours when you take a lunch break. And some people, you know, need a little more help than others, but I make it pretty easy. I tell people not to use directional fabric until you've made it once, because when people cut ahead of time, which I have you do to save time, sometimes people decide, oh, I'm going to use directional fabric. And they cut it the wrong way because there's a lot involved with figuring out which way to cut it. So I just have people bring non-directional fabric the first time, and then you can go home and make hundreds of them to your heart's content after you understand the process. And I often fussy cut my little windows when I make them. I probably have made, I don't know, 6 of those pillows. And I bring all those for you to see all the different variations of how you can do it. Yeah, Tony's the president. Okay, it's this fall. Okay, then that means it's November. I'm pretty sure that's the November one, because we just scheduled that. I think in early February, end of January. Okay, I'm actually going to press these inward. They kind of want to go inward anyway. So that's what we're going to do. Isn't that cute? Going to give it a good starch. And the key with this one is picking, you know, for this part of the block, picking something that has a contrast so you can see it. I think you can see it just a little bit better in this one that's got the blush, kind of the mauve color. Actually kind of matches my nail polish. It does. Give it another good starch. And we can call our Checkmate blocks done. All right, there we go. Ta-da! All right, I'm going to put these out of the way. Let's move on to our Clover block. Our Clover block. All right, let's get all these jumbo alphabet clips out of the way. I have a huge bag, like I have doubles in here because I use these myself all the time. All right, let's see what we've got here. These are my background fabrics here. And let me kind of show you. So my background fabric, I'm using this pink color for my background instead of the white. So on my test block, I used white. And then I used the lighter colors here. So this is my background. This one here is my center. This is going to be my center, which it'll pop because it's going to be against the pink. So you can kind of see. I don't know if you can see. Let me turn the light off so you can see the print on it. I'll turn that down. There's like a little subtle little flowers that go down the bottom of it, so you can see that. Is it better if I leave this light off or on for y'all? I don't know, let me know. You would move to Arkansas, Kathy? Oh, I didn't, your ancestors, your family's from here? You know, it is a beautiful state, at least the central part of the state to the west. Once you leave Little Rock and go east, it's flat and ugly. There's no mountains. You're starting to get in the Delta. It's just flat. It looks like you're in a whole different state. So everything west of Little Rock, north, and some south is really nice. We have 2 mountain ranges here. We have the Ouachitas, which is west central, which is where I'm at, and then the Ozarks, and that is in the north, kind of the northwest corner of the state. And they're both absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's move on to our clover block. So this is the clover block here. Now, here's what I wanted to tell you about this. Let's get over here to it. In the book, if you can see here, I don't know if you can see, the background fabric here is not white. There's little dots in here. They're little teeny dots. So the inside of the clover is the same fabric as your background fabric, okay? But when you look here at the printout, let's see if y'all can see it. The center, let me turn the light down. The center, those are polka dots, and this is all white, your sashing, okay? So your, which one was it? Your H blocks, which are going to be over here in these little corners here, need to be the same as your background fabric, not the same as your accent, okay? Let me repeat that again. Just know that if you want to use like a different color background, then you need your you need your H blocks or your H squares to be the same as your background, not the same as your accent. If you're doing your accent and your background in the same print or the same color, then follow the cutting instructions exactly. But I just wanted you to kind of know that there was a little difference between the block you print out and what you see in the book. So it wasn't a big deal. I just cut my H squares. I had just cut 4 extras of these, and I really needed 4 extras of the background fabric. So just a little thing there. BL Tweezer, you live in DeQueen, southwest of the state. Yes. So that's on the western side, and there's some hills and a lot of lush greenery over that direction. Yeah, we're glad you're here. We went through that. Where were we going? We were going to Quill Festival, and we went through DeQueen in Houston in October. Okay, so let's get on with this one. Now it tells the first thing we need to do is we need our C fabrics. So my clovers are going to be this really pretty green of Her Beloved collection. So I'm going to use this. It's kind of a sage green. So we need 4. Where is my rotating cutting mat? Because I need to put all these on here to take this over. We need 4, 2, 3, 4, because what we're doing right now, we're making 4 of these, okay? So we're getting ready to make the middle unit of each one of these right now. All right, so 4 of those. We're going to put these C back in their home so we don't get confused. And now we need our D, and we need 4 of those. So our D blocks go here. Our H, now the H ones, this is where I was telling you. This is my accent fabric, so that's what's going to be here in the middle of these clovers right here. If your accent fabric is the same as your background fabric, then follow the instructions exactly as they're written. But my background fabric is this color. So that meant I had to cut 4 of their, it tells you to cut 8 H squares. You need 4 of your accent color and 4 of the background if this color is not going to be the same color as the borders that go all around it. All right. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside and put that on it. All right, so, and now we need our G. So we set our G's here, and we've got 4 of those. All right, and then we need the other C. How many we need of those? 1, 2, 3, 4. I might have cut extras. Okay, 4 of those. All right. Just put those out of the way. I think I might have accidentally cut 2 extras of those. All right. So that's what we've got here. So you can see I laid mine out on my board just like how they laid theirs out here. All right. So we're sewing the middle part. This part here is the middle part of our block. So I'm going to sew all 4 of these. I'm just going to chain stitch them all at the same time. That way I'm doing 4 here all at once. All right, let's take this over. And so this tells us to sew these 2 together first to basically make a column. So that is what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to chain stitch all of these at once. This fabric is so soft. I have a quilt retreat center here, about 10 miles from my house here. And it's on the property that I grew up on. And my dad is still there, and he maintains the property and all of that. And we have 2 Airbnbs. One of them is actually the retreat center. And so when I don't have retreats, we rent it out as an Airbnb. And there's a studio connected to the end of the house. It's all one level. And when we have Airbnbers, we close off that studio. They can't gain access to it. Just because, I could only imagine people getting out there and playing and all that stuff. And so we actually have Airbnbers that just checked in today and another set that just checked out today from the other house. We've got, 5 people come, 5 different groups coming this month. So it is a tourist destination, Montgomery County is. And, I named my fabric collection Montgomery Mountain Charm because we're in Montgomery County, we're in the mountains, and it's very charming here. And so a lot of people do love to visit. If you just want to get away from the city and be where there's just lakes and rivers, so the property with the B&Bs and the retreat center are on the Washita River. So it's on 45 acres. And one house is on the river. We call it the River House. And it overlooks the river there. And there's trails, walking trails, hiking trails. And we tell people any crystals they find on top of the ground, they can take. We don't allow people to dig on the property, but we have crystal mines here. There's, probably like 4 or 5. And a lot of people will come here to dig for crystals, and they bring their kids to have an adventure to do that, which is a lot of fun. There's an amusement park in Hot Springs, which is 35 miles away. So we get a lot of families that come in the summer and just have wonderful outdoor adventures with their kids. You can dig for diamonds about 50 miles away at the Crater of Diamond State Park. So there is a lot to do here. Yeah. Yeah, Brenda, it is beautiful here, isn't it? It really is. I appreciated it when I was, a kid to a degree, the best you can as a kid, teenager. I lived here until well, I went to college the first 2 years in Conway. And that was a really nice college. And then I finished up school in Washington State. And as I've gotten older, you know, I lived away for 30 years, you know, in different states. Work took me to different parts of the country with the kind of work that I did. And I always look forward to coming back and visiting because it's just very unique here. We have a lot of natural resources and just a lot of beauty. It's small, rural America, but it's just a really beautiful part. And I know my husband, he's always lived in, you know, a city. And when he would come with me to visit, he would feel like, I mean, he would sleep and sleep and sleep. It was so relaxing to him. He'd be ready to go to bed at like 9 o'clock. And he would sleep in the morning. And he still says he feels like he's on vacation here. So, yeah, a lot of people do come to visit. The nearest airport is Little Rock, so it is an hour and 45 minutes from me. But the drive is all on the freeway, except for the last 30 miles from Hot Springs to here. And it's beautiful Highway 27. So, hey Liz, we're glad you're here. We're just working on, or I'm working on, the Fat Quarter by the Dozen quilt along. I'm doing both of my March blocks. We're on the last one, the Clover block. So this is our first part of the unit there. It's going to be like that. And it's super easy to put together. Some people also like to come. We're not gamblers, but we have the Oaklawn races, the horse races. So if you think of the Kentucky Derby, think of a slightly smaller version of that in Hot Springs. So we have Oaklawn horse races. That's another thing a lot of people like to come here and do. Yeah, there is a casino attached to it. Bathhouse Row, so that's one of my favorite things to do. I actually feel like I need to do that soon, kind of as a detox, but Bathhouse Row. Okay, so way back in the day, Hot Spring was kind of a gangster mafia area. It was very kind of lucrative area. People would come to vacation, and a lot of crazy stuff, I guess, apparently happened. And we've got all of these in downtown Hot Springs. It's called Bathhouse Row, and all the original structures are still there. And there was a period of time that a lot of them, because once the mafia was kicked out and you didn't have all that money coming through there, then, you know, the bathhouses weren't used as much. So some of them shut down. Well, they've fixed them all up, and a lot of them are functional now. And so they've got the mineral baths. Quilt Husband, maybe you can put the link in there for y'all. They have the mineral baths. And when I get them done, I go to the Arlington Hotel, and it's down, I guess it's maybe on the 3rd floor. And the Arlington is kind of sort of built into the side of the mountain there. And the hotel is pretty old. I mean, this is not, you're going there for the historical part of it. And the bathhouse is the original. So it's the old tubs, and it is literally that mineral water that comes out of the ground. There's a lot of healing properties of minerals and such in that water. So much so we actually go get our water from there. And there's Mountain Valley water there as well. And so when you come to the retreat center or the River House Airbnb, we have the Mountain Valley water that's from Hot Springs. But back to what I was saying. I'll sew this on the other end. I think that one's a little long. I like to go get what's called the Works. And it's super cheap. For $110, you get to soak in these big tubs by yourself. You have your private little bathroom, your private little soaking room. And there's an attendant, you know, that walks you to it and gets you settled. And you soak for about 30 minutes in there. And then when you're done, you can go into the sauna or the steam room, or you can skip that if you want. And you, from there, you lay in this like this area where they wrap you in these hot towels. I mean, all your muscles just feel like a limp noodle. Like if you had a tense muscle in your body, it is completely untense, not tense anymore. And then you rinse off in this little shower thing after you do all of that. And then you get a 30-minute massage, or you can add on and make it an hour. And it's such a great experience. I've had girlfriends of mine that have come to visit, and we've gone to do it. My husband has gone to do it with me. Now on the man side, they have male attendants. On the female side, they have female attendants. And I mean, if you go to a big spa, which, you know, the luxury spas are a bit more plush, you're going to pay like $400 or $500 for that kind of treatment. But anyway, I just love to do that, and I haven't gone in a while and feel like maybe I should do that soon. But y'all, if you come and you don't mind, you know, you're getting in the bathtub naked, but if you don't want to do that, you can go to the one where you like wear your swimsuit and other people are in there. Now, I don't know how I feel about that, about being in there like a big hot tub with people, but you know, whatever you like. There's lots of options. And then there's a place to eat. I think it's called Eden. It's a lovely little place with like wonderful desserts and salads and really good food. So downtown Hot Springs, they have a really great soapery. So I get some of my like organic lotions there, and bath bombs and things like that. They have a lot of like rock shops because, you know, all the crystals and the rocks and stuff, gemstones and all we have here. You can ride the duck, which kind of takes you on a tour. That's a real kind of touristy thing. We don't really do that. But yeah, and then if you love barbecue, McLard's Barbecue, it's pretty famous. There's only one. It's been around, gosh, it's the 60s, I think. And it is, I mean, I like barbecue. I don't eat a lot of it anymore. Once I found out a few years ago that it was carcinogenic. But for the times that I have, if you love barbecue and you want to just do it every so often, it is so good. It's a vinegar-based barbecue, and they have really good tamales. So that is another thing that we suggest. And we have all of this like in the welcome manual at the retreat center and the B&Bs. And then if you come for the retreat center, then I make you a homemade mountain berry pie. Okay. Oh, you visited? Oh no, it was us. Okay. Okay, Liz. Yeah, so we were at Lake Catherine where Garvin Gardens was. That's where we went Friday for our anniversary. Our 9-year anniversary was Friday. And believe it or not, Garvin Gardens was built after I moved away from Arkansas 30 plus years ago. And so I'd never gone. And since I haven't been feeling very good, I was like, let's just stay around here. What can we do for the day? And the tulips are like literally all in bloom. It was like the perfect week to do it. Yeah, The Vapors by David Hill, Brenda. Yeah, there's a lot of history for sure. Yeah, there's a museum. I mean, there is definitely a lot of history about some of the gangster crime stuff and all of that happened. Oh, is that? Let's make sure that's right. Okay, here we go. Now we're going on to the next part here. So now we need our H squares here. H and our B. So there's our B's. And then A's down here at the bottom. Okay. Here we go. Is that right? No. That is what it's supposed to look like. Always have to double check everything. Down here, here, here. Okay. All right, so now we're going to sew these two together, and then we just have to sew this strip to the bottom. And then we'll have our 4 basically clovers that make up our full big block. So home stretch. Let's see, what else, babe, do we have that I failed to mention? We love to do thrift stores and like Goodwills and stuff. Like it was like one of the first things we did on one of our dates. And we have like good secondhand stores in Hot Springs. So if you like to do that, there's like flea markets where you've got the little booths inside. I mean, I think it's like an old Walmart, and they converted it to like a flea market where you've got all the little individual booths in there. That's a lot of fun to do. You can go up, you can walk the promenade and go up to the mountain and see the entire city from the top of the tower up there.
The world-class mountain biking trails out here.
Oh yeah, the world-class mountain biking trail. So we have lots of fishers, people that come for fishing tournaments because of our lakes that we have, and also our rivers. Actually, the Airbnbers that were just here, it was son, grandson, uncle, and grandpa. They all came for a fishing trip. And then we have bikers that come to ride their bikes, like their mountain bikes, and we have some world-class trails around here in Montgomery County.
Washita Lake is one of the cleanest lakes in the nation.
Yeah, Lake Washita is one of the cleanest lakes in the nation. So, lots of boaters. All right, we're going to press these open. Whew. Well, I guess the storm blew through. And now it's literally the temperature's going to start dropping now that storm blew through. We'll have to wait till the wind dies down a little bit to put all of those towels and blankets out for my pretty flowers. All right, got those pressed, so let's go. So they're, huh? I'm okay. All right, so now we're going to sew all of these. Let me set that out of the way. It took me a little bit to figure out, because this bundle, the Beloved bundle, it's not teen fat quarters, and it took me a little bit. I decided to use a darker colored background, this mauve kind of pink color. And so when I'm following the pattern instructions, I have to kind of think really carefully about it, because their background is white and I have to do the opposite when I do it. That's another reason I test these first, because it can be really easy to get stuff twisted around. But every so often I like to do a quilt that's got like a darker background rather than white, off-white, or cream, which I do quite a bit of those, but I decided to do something a little different with this one. My mom and dad grew up in Hot Springs. They met there in high school at Hot Springs High. Both my grandmothers lived in Hot Springs. So, I mean, Hot Springs is where my husband and I go, for, it's basically town. So the town I live in is only 1,000 people. And we do have a little grocery store here and a couple of places to eat. We do have a thrift store, which basically you can get stuff for $1. I think it's the cheapest thrift store left. I got a bunch, I think last year, a bunch of, someone must have passed away, and it was like a lot of her quilting stuff. It was like hoops and rickrack and pom-poms, like, the little pom-poms. So, it's just a small little town I live in, so we really to go to doctor's appointments there, and then Little Rock is an hour and 45 minutes away, and we have to go there some. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to press those yet. Let's go ahead and add this. We're going to add the strip here to the side, and then I'll press all these at once rather than making 2 trips. So, Liz, about Lake Catherine, my dad, growing up, my dad was the manager of Monroe Shoe Factory here in Mount Ida. And Lake Catherine also had a division of Monroe Shoe Company. So that's where he would go, you know, sometimes when he would have to go help out over there. There would be meetings and stuff is over in Lake Catherine. And interestingly, it's kind of on the outskirts of Hot Springs. I never remember going to Lake Catherine. So, because we usually were in Hot Springs. So when we were at Garden Gardens Friday, we could see the whole Lake Catherine all the way around the botanical gardens, and it was so pretty. It was 74, sunny with a light breeze. It was like the absolutely perfect day. Was that thunder?
It's wind, the lights are flickering.
Ooh, lights are flickering. Let's see if we can get this done, y'all. We're on the home stretch. We just need to add our sashing and our little center square. So let's press these. Well, we do have to do some snowballed corners. I lied. We have to do some snowballed corners. Yeah, that is, I think one of the only bad things is where we live, and I don't know why, but the electricity does go out here more than any place I've ever lived. I don't really know what that's all about.
Trees.
The trees?
Power lines.
Yeah, I guess so. We do. I mean, that is, we have lovely trees here, but I guess that's the reason, huh? It's one of those evenings that you just want to like snuggle in. You just want to put on like comfy clothes and make popcorn and watch a good movie. Quilt Husband and I are super sad. We've watched officially all 10 episodes of The Great British Sewing Bee. We've been watching it since November, and that is what inspired him to want to learn to sew. And it's over. So we have been watching. Huh?
We're going to start it over.
Oh, are we? Okay, we're going to start it over, he said. We're going to pick up tidbits of things that we didn't learn the first time around. Is that what we're doing?
My husband's going to get ideas.
He's going to get ideas. See, you know he's into it if he wants to watch all 10 seasons again. And each season has about 9 episodes. But we did find on Craftsy. So on Craftsy, if you have Roku, right? Isn't Craftsy on Roku? Or is that on?
There's a Roku app, but it's on Samsung TV.
Okay, it's on Samsung TV, but there is a Roku app, and you can do Craftsy like for I don't know, $2.99 a year or something when you first start out, and you can learn everything from beading to quilting to garment sewing, and so we've kind of been watching some of that, just because the Great British Sewing Bee is over, so. All right, let's turn that up a little bit. Okay, let's see what we've got here. So now it is time to get out our E-squares. of our background fabric. We're going to draw diagonal lines on the back of each of these. Brenda, you guys will have to get a group from Benton to come have a retreat here, since y'all are so close. I've got a group coming in June. Everyone's starting to book their spring and fall quilt retreats. I've got a group coming from Fort Smith in June. And then another group from Texas is coming, I think in October. Okay, we're going to go ahead and mark the back of our eye because we have to draw a diagonal line on these too. So we're going to go ahead and mark these. We sew these on first, but we're going to go ahead and mark these as well because there's 8 of them and we might as well just do these while we're doing the other ones. All right. What are y'all cooking for dinner tonight? Quilt Husband cooks most all of our dinners unless it's crock pot. And then I do crock pot stuff, but he does everything else. And then sometimes I bake. I did bake us a pumpkin pie for our anniversary, but I don't use sugar. So when I make my pies, and they're like, "Ooh, I don't want you to make a pie for my retreat." Well, I use coconut sugar unless there's an allergy. Coconut sugar has the same exact effect. It's just better for you. So I know for some people maybe that are diabetic or, you know, they're trying to watch their sugar, you can swap it out for coconut sugar. And my dad doesn't eat a lot of sugar either, and we don't either. And we've swapped that out. You can also use honey, but I like the coconut sugar. So you might try that. And then I make my pie crust from scratch. It just tastes so much better. My mom is an amazing baker. She always baked homemade stuff for us growing up, especially desserts. And it was just always so good from scratch. I'd rather not have it if it's like, you know, from the Walmart bakery section. It just, for me, it just doesn't taste as good once you've had it homemade. I know it takes a little bit more time, but I very much do appreciate that she taught me that. Okay, I'm going to swap out my presser foot here, and we are going to snowball these corners. We're snowballing the corners that have the same color background, and I'm going to chain stitch these. We're just going to sew on the diagonal line, and then we'll be cutting a 1/4 inch away. And this is right sides together, but since my fabric is the same on both sides. Oh, it's not. Ha ha. Oh, Belle, you need to check yourself, my friend. Right sides together. It's not. Look at that. It's not the same. Good thing I caught myself on that one. This is the second unpicking to do. I don't mind it as long as I don't accidentally puncture my fabric. I'll tell you what I don't like to have to unpick. See, I should have drawn these on the back. Darn it. What I don't love to unpick is when I'm using my long arm. I'm new to using it. And there have been some times I've had to unpick part of the pantograph because I've messed up somehow with the nesting or did something goofy. And there, right before QuiltCon, because I had 2 quilts in QuiltCon in the Bentertex booth. I'm gonna have to draw lines on these. I messed up, and Quilt Husband was out here with me. What were we unpicking for 1 hour?
Yeah.
Hour and a half. Yeah, it was not fun at all. He came out here. I was so sore my neck was. He's such a good helper. I was underneath the long arm, and he was on the top. And like we would pick, and then I would like pull a string. I gotta move this over here. Like once we got it going and we could pull a string, it would keep kind of unpicking. But oh my goodness, that is when I do not like to use the seam ripper. This is easy compared to that. Tortilla soup, Elsa. I love a good tortilla soup. I might need to make that in the crock pot this week. You want tortilla soup this week, honey? I haven't made that in a while. I like the tortilla soup that's more of a water base instead of a cream base. So are you using water or cream, Elsa? Huh?
We use broth.
Yeah, broth. But some people use like cheese, like they make it really cheesy. And I like kind of a clear broth based. Or they'll put cream in it. You know, more like enchilada kind of creamy. But I do love tortilla soup. What are we having for dinner? I actually feel kind of full from, huh? I'm kind of full from lunch. Yeah, that was a lot of protein. And Cool Husband's been giving me, y'all, a chopped up garlic clove every day. Supposed to kill everything bad. If I take it with a bite of food, it's not so bad. But my dad swears by it. Sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures. All right. Now we got those sewn down. We'll go press these, and then we're going to snowball 2 other corners after we cut these off. A drink of water. Your dog watches TV? You know what?
The dog kept barking at Angel.
Oh, really?
Midnight Quilter.
No, well, no. Angela Wolf does the garments, and she's got the really pretty hands and fingernails. Angela Walters is the Midnight Quilter. We've been watching her too on Craftsy. Angela, and this was like, those videos of them were like 15 years ago because they've changed a little bit since then. Angela is an excellent garment sewer. I've met her a few times at H&H, and she also was on, when Blaine Austin was with Sewing Machines Plus, Angela was on there a lot, and so we would do some of the lives. I guess I'll keep these. These could make little 1-inch half square triangles. I'll save them. No, I'm not, because look, the ends of them have that on there. I'm not going to save those. I have a friend. She is I'm a member of our art gallery here. We do have a little art gallery, and some of my stuff is hanging in the gallery. I have like wall hangings and some quilty stuff, and her name is Lindy, and she makes the coolest jewelry and pillows and things from fabrics. And so I give her all of my itty bitty scraps that are like, I can't use for EPP. If they're not big enough for English paper piecing, then I give them to her. And she ends up using them in a lot of her art pillows that she makes. And it's kind of fun to walk in there and see, you know, how someone's used your fabric in a different way. So I save that stuff for her. But anything I can get EPP out of, I do. Here's one I did recently when we were flying to QuiltCon. There's one of mine in my Montgomery Mountain Charm collection. And if y'all know or don't know, I use leave-in papers. And I have a new product that's going to be coming out in May with ThermoWeb. Stay tuned for these. Right now I cut these with my AccuQuilt and use stabilizer. But something fun is coming soon. And when you wash these, it just kind of turns into like, it's a little bit thicker than dryer sheets. And it's a great way to not have to take out all those papers and mess up all of those beautiful seams that you have glued down. So yeah. Okay, let's now snowball our other corners here. So we do the top right and the bottom left on these. And I did the same thing, y'all. I drew the lines on the front. I didn't double check that the front was not the same as the back. So we're gonna have to mark these. Good thing you can't see that line on the front. You love what quilt? Diana, what quilt is it that you love? Turkey meatloaf and rosemary potatoes. We're growing already, which those pots are coming in tonight. We've got oregano, sage, and thyme right now that's growing. And then we usually always grow basil. And then I always have mint growing because I like, when I make iced tea, I always put mint in it, fresh mint. I saw where someone was using a scan cut to do paper piecing. Yeah, I have a Cricut, but it's just so much faster to use AccuQuilt because you can do six stacks high. And with the AccuQuilt hexi die, you can get 4 hexes, 6 up, so you can get 24 in one pass. 24 hexes in one pass. I mean, I got a bunch of them right now, y'all. Like, I cut a bunch the other day. This is the Blissfield collection, and I have like little pieces. And actually, I think these are some Quilt Husband cut for me. Aren't those all pretty from scraps? Yeah, so they're all ready. I'm getting ready to, in the next few weeks, start working on a hexi quilt, doing the hand stitching. So I do like AccuQuilt. I do have some videos on it. If y'all do English paper piecing or you ever wanted to do it, I show you the Belle way, which involves leave-in stabilizer and not using papers. Okay, let's go put on our corners here. So top right, bottom left. We're getting closer to be finished. And normally I don't like to do 2 blocks in one day. It's just a long time, but I couldn't avoid it this month, so. And we're gonna chain stitch. I'm not even cutting the thread. I just line them up and just keep on stitching. This was not how I would have guessed this block was put together. You know how sometimes you're like, oh, I think I know how that was put together. And when I first looked at it, I think I thought it would be put together more like a log cabin, you know, where you just kind of keep sewing around. And I think that's another way you could do it, is like you would a log cabin. So this is the different, kind of a different way to do it. I'm trying to think if I've seen this block before. Maybe I have, but I thought it was put together more like a log cabin block. Okay. So we're going to cut all these apart, and then we're going to stitch the bottom left corner, and then we'll cut those off, and then we can put our sashing on and we will be done. Okay, let's turn these. Make sure I got these all turned right. So it's this side. This side here. You want to try the English paper piecing, Brenda? It's so relaxing. I mean, when I'm flying or you're at doctor's appointments, or maybe like if you go to your kids or your grandkids sporting events, you just take it with you. You know, I have my beginner English paper piecing kits that lets you do 3 of them. Okay, is this right? It lets you do 3 of them to see if you like it. And I would not, I can tell you, if I had to take my papers out, I would not do it. That's how I first learned. And I was like, I don't like this because it's messing up all my beautiful glue basting. Say, I'm not doing it. Then I was like, I wonder what I have in my craft closet that I could use that would work like paper, that's stiff enough that I could leave in. And I had a huge roll of leave-in stabilizer. And I was like, bingo. So then I had a few AccuQuilt, but I looked to see if they had the hexie die. So they have the 1 inch and they have the die. The 1 die, you can cut your 4 hexies, layer it 6 up, so you're gonna get 24. And you can cut your stabilizer on that same die. There's 4 little bit larger hexies to cut, the larger ones to cut your fabric, and then the smaller ones are to cut your stabilizer. Or if you want to cut your papers, you can. But, and then I love the jewel petal shape. And a couple years ago, I approached AccuQuilt and we did a collaboration. I launched the jewel petal die because you can combine the 1 inch jewel petal with the hexies. And it's just, I don't know, it's super fun. So I like to do that. Okay. Let's trim off the snowball corners. Oh, I know. He is loving, Blaine is loving being on there. I'll have to show y'all what he sent me, y'all. We got some stuff in the works for me to be on his show later on this year with the long arm. But this is what he sent me. I don't think Quilt Husband's even seen it. It says, Crazy Sewing Lady. So you can win these vests on his show if you watch. It's called Stitch International. Stitch It International. And you can win like the long sleeve. You can do the short sleeve, which is nice. And they have a lot of embroidery machines. Oh, there's even hey, there's a little bag. You can fold it up and it fits in this little bag. Look at that. In the zipper there. Oh, that's cool. But it says Crazy Sewing Lady. Isn't that cute? This is a large. So he sent it to me the other day. You hadn't seen it yet, had you?
I haven't seen it on yet.
Yeah. What do you think? Yeah, I'm glad I got the large instead of the medium because I don't want it to be too tight. I don't think it's too big. Anyway, Stitch It International. And probably be doing some stuff. He's adding lots of machines. He's had to completely do a new like website for them because he's doing all these machines and stuff. So if y'all if you watched Sewing Machines Plus and you're like, where did Blaine go? He's at Stitch It International. And he's adding long arm sewing machines, and they're known also for their embroidery machines. He's just a great guy. And he lives in Missouri. He's only about, I think he's 5 hours away. His mom lives in Arkansas. He's originally from Arkansas. He's just a great guy. They've been really great to work with. Okay, we are going to press these out. Except Belle forgot to cut off the other ends. The other ends of the snowball corners. I got to talking and not paying attention there. Yeah, Brenda, I think I've seen you on there, Brenda, on his Stitch It International. You grow herbs out your back door. Nice. I know it really does need to get here. I'm really upset. I don't use the word hate a lot, but I hate when these winter snaps come and they kill all the beauty that's happening, because I love flowers. It's like, I love fall, but spring, I would say, is my favorite. because of the flowers. You know, I paint the watercolor flowers for my fabric or sketch them sometimes. So there's a lot of inspiration. We took a lot of photos at Garvin Gardens for inspiration. I'm going to do some watercolor this week for my 4th fabric collection. So it's wild. My first one is just now shipping to shops, and I'm already working on the 4th one. And that one will launch next spring. It'll be a year from now. And it's got, everything always has some florals in it, but I'll give y'all a little hint. The one coming out this coming fall, your daddies, your grandpas, your sons, your uncles will definitely like the collection. But there's enough in there too for females. There's stuff in there they'll like too, but sometimes there's not a lot out there for men that like a little bit more rustic stuff. So it's just a little teaser there for y'all. Okay. Brenda's so hungry it made her so she's making a salad. I love a good summer salad, spring salad. Isn't that cute? Look, these are little hearts. Wouldn't those be cute on point as like a heart? That's a great idea. Like that would be a great way to make hearts rather than clovers. Okay, so now, hey, we're home stretch, y'all. So now we just have to lay these out the correct way. So it's like this. I'm gonna zoom out. There we go, so y'all can see this here. So that goes there, and these point down. Our sashing's gonna go in between here, like this, and then those will go here, and then our little cornerstone is right there in the middle, like that. Okay, so we're gonna sew the first row together, and then I'm gonna go ahead and sew the bottom row, and then I'll sew the middle together. And I have to double check, make sure I don't turn stuff around. I'm gonna swap out. That's another thing I love about this machine. I rotate with these 2 feet all the time, and I can just press that little lever and it just pops off. So what kind of sewing machines do you guys sew with? I'm curious to know. I'm sewing on a Juki, and the machine that Quilt Husband uses is a Juki. It's a semi-industrial Juki. And we'll sew this end on. Oh. I have a little featherweight that I take sometimes to retreats, or if we go away for a little bit. And then I use a little Janome 4120 QDC for when I teach. Let me go grab this other one. A Juki, okay, and a Brother Stellaire, okay. Now, is your Juki a straight stitch? BL teaser? Is it a straight stitch? This one is computerized. It actually has a straight stitch plate and a special straight stitch feed dogs, which is what I have in right now. But you can swap out this plate to put on what I call the jelly bean plate, and then special feed dogs for that. So I used to only use my Juki straight stitch. It's in the kind of the TL series. But when I realized I needed to do zigzag stitches sometimes to make franken batting or decorative stitches or, you know, buttonholes and stuff, it's like, I need a machine that does that. So I now use this one all the time. And Quilt Husband uses my other one. Huh? Okay, so we've got those two done. Let's do that center sashing, a little pressing, and then we can assemble our Clover block. I really like these. I love large blocks because you can make a quilt, like it makes up the quilt pretty quickly. And I don't love quilt blocks that have tiny little pieces in them. I just want to get it done and move on to the next thing. Like, I know some people love Elizabeth Hartman patterns, and they are amazing, but I just wouldn't have the patience for all those little pieces. I mean, some of those kid quilts, those animal quilts, are outstanding. So Bernadette Evans lives north of me. Oh, okay, cool. All right, let's press this and then let's stitch it together and we will have made it. So again, this block is not hard and I'm gonna press in on this one. It lays a little better on this, so I'm not gonna press open. So these are gonna go in. This one is gonna go out. Because that way these will nest when we sew these together. So those went out and then these will go back in. And we will do a little pinning to keep everything lined up. Oh, I really like this one with the dark background. It's really nice. Okay, let's get this one stitched together. Hey, is it JJ Brownie? Jaja Brownie. I'm working on the show and tell quilt and I want to cry with all, a 1-inch squares, Jaja. Whoa. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine. Like 2.5-inch squares are hard enough, but here's my mantra. If it does not bring me joy, then I don't want to do it. And, you know, you have to try something out to know usually if you like it. So I have made a couple of small blocks early on in my quilting journey. And I was like, this is not for me. Small blocks are just not for me. And here's the other thing I don't love. I don't like foundation paper piecing because I have kind of this weird neurological thing that's been happening for several years. I get things reversed, and foundation paper piecing, you reverse stuff anyway, so then it's like a double reverse problem for me. I did one foundation paper piecing. It was of a chair, and never again. Now, my friend Liza Taylor, if y'all love foundation paper piecing, she has the cutest foundation paper piecing blocks ever. So Quilt Husband, it's Liza Taylor handmade, and maybe he can drop that link for y'all in there. She has the most darling foundation paper piecing blocks ever. And she's just a dear sweetheart too. She's a designer. And she has it's like a club. It's $10 a month and you get like several of those free a month. And it's just not for me. I don't have joy. If something doesn't bring me joy, then I'm like, I'm not gonna do that kind of quilting. So the small stuff, I feel ya, Jaja. No small stuff for me either. Like 18-inch blocks, 14. I mean, 12-inch is usually the smallest I go. So just so you know, most of my patterns, it's 12-inch and bigger. Trying to think if there's one that's any smaller than that. I don't think there is. They're all 12 inches or bigger. 12, 14, 16. The bigger the better. Go big or go home. But you got to do what makes you happy. Some people like those little intricate teeny things, and I just don't. If I'm gonna, you know, I only have limited time to do, you know, certain quilting, and it's like, I want to do what makes me happy. I did sew through my fingernail last year with this machine. I don't know how I did it. Somehow I got my finger, like, it somehow slipped and went over the top, and when the needle was up, it came down at an angle on my fingernail and came out through the tip. Scared me to death. It's the first time that's happened. Janome M6. So yours is the 2020 PE. It's the 2020 Platinum Edition. They don't make it anymore. Well, okay, let me back up. They don't make the 2020 PE. It was a limited edition. Only 2,000 were made, and it was during the pandemic, right? 2020. And that was when I started quilting. And I had gotten like a used 1967 Janome New Home that I was using. And then I got the Janome that I use now for teaching. It's that 4120 QDC. I use that for teaching. And I was like, you know what? I really want one that's really good for piecing, like straight stitching, because that's really what I thought I was going to be doing most of. And so there was only 2,000 of them, and it's silver. And that came with a box of quilting feet and all of your like regular piecing feet and stuff. And so, and it was on sale, so I got that. They do have a silver one now. I think, honey, it's called the limited edition, but it doesn't come with that special box of quilting feet. So both of my machines are silver. Both of my Jukis are silver rather than white. Okay, y'all, we did it. Everything looks sewn correctly. That is our Clover block. Wouldn't that be fun to make the full quilt? And I like the dark background. So this is a great way, if you've got a lot of light fabrics, just use a dark background and you can make your lighter fabrics pop. So just kind of reverse it, right? Let me show y'all the full quilt. Let's see the picture of it. Is there? Yeah, here it is. Okay, I'm going to show it to you. Let me turn the light off so it doesn't glare on you. There's the full quilt if you make it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 12 blocks, 12 18-inch blocks. And there is sashing between each row. Now, I don't love sashing, but there are times where you need it because you totally lose what's going on with the block. So my sampler quilts that I do, one that I do every year, I do have sashing between those because it would look very strange without it. But I like all of my sashing and borders to be all the same color. But yeah, that's what it would. So if y'all want to make this, it's in the book. It's called the Clover Quilt, and it finishes at 66.5 by 86.5. So let's see what's next. Next up, super easy, the composition blocks. So this will be our next one. This one looks super easy. It's kind of like, looks kind of modern to me. Composition blocks. So let's look here at our handout. So we'll be making one. This is it here. We'll be making one. And it is 17 by 17. So this one is a big one too. And this one looks super easy. So this one will be on April 1st is the next one. And then let's see what's after that. Ooh, y'all, look at middle of April. This is called Fireflies. This is the other one. If I made any quilts in this one, it would be the Clover one. And then that one looks like fun. It's called Fireflies. So that will be coming up for April. All right. Let's see what we got going on over here in the chat. Your 50-year-old singer froze up. You're looking at Genomes. So I can say Genomes and Jukis are my favorite brand. They're made in Japan. I am a Toyota driver. Japanese machines and cars are just really well made. They just are. So I am a fan. I've never had any trouble out of my Juki or my Genome. My 2 Jukis and my 1 Genome, I've never had any trouble out of them. And if I get a larger long arm with a larger throat space, I would do a Genome. Yeah, I would probably do a Genome. And Baby Lock's good too. I mean, I would say Baby Lock would be a third, would probably be my third. But everybody's different. Like I was on the the Inappropriate Quilters podcast. I'll have Quilt Husband drop the link in there. Inappropriate Quilters podcast last Saturday, I think it dropped, or last Friday. And we were talking about this, about machines, featherweights and all, and why people like certain machines and all. And so Leslie and I both like Jukis. We both have the same Juki, but hers is white, mine is silver. And oh, why is her name slipping me? I'm having some memory problems lately, y'all. The Donut Warrior is her handle. Rochelle. Sorry, Rochelle. She likes Berninas, and that's what she sews on. So, you know, I've never sewn on a Bernina, so you've just got to do what makes you happy. You know, we all get used to kind of certain features of our machines. I suggest, though, if you're looking for one, is it Kathy? Is go test them out, either at a show, which you can get the best deals at a show because they're usually the show specials or the ones that are there. Or if you take a class at a quilt show, the ones in the room, they discount them heavily because they've, quote, been used for 3 days at the show. So you can get really good deals that way if you're, you know, looking for machines. But I do like Juki and Genome for sure. But anyway, Inappropriate Quilters podcast, that's a pretty funny episode they had me on. I was really, really sick, so I sound really nasally on that episode. But if y'all aren't familiar with them, I listen to them. I laugh so much on their show. They just talk, and Rochelle is a natural storyteller, and then Leslie's laugh is infectious. They're just so funny. And she's actually from Arkansas, Leslie is, but she lives in Oklahoma. And so they're pretty funny. But if you like to listen to stuff, you know, while you're sewing, theirs is really funny, really, really funny. So there's a funny story I tell on there too about my fabric collection. So anyway, all right, friends. Well, that is it. We have been on for 2 hours and we got both blocks done. I was afraid it was going to take longer than that, but it didn't. So again, coming up for my Threadmaster members, shout out to you guys. Threadmaster members usually pay, well, they do. They pay a couple of bucks a month. And so if you want to consider getting extra special stuff, this month you're going to get see the portfolio of my 3rd fabric collection before anyone else sees it. And then you're going to get a free pattern. It's my tulip pattern, but it's the big wall hanging. So there's a tulip block that was this month for March. It's a small 12-inch block. This one is a big wall hanging, and it's normally a paid pattern. So my Threadmasters, you guys are going to get that one free. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do it this month, but it will be this month. And we'll make it live, and then you'll get the free download too in that. So don't forget to click the notification bell for when those things are going on and when I'm on next. Thanks for being with me today, y'all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And until next time, quilty friends, make lovely things. Bye, y'all.